Welcome to European Railway, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this programme, we travel to Slovakia to study traffic on the line east out of the city of Kosice. V200 007 is pictured working in northern Germany. A visit to Switzerland and the delightful station at Flüelen. A look at Dutch operations on the route south of Utrecht. Diesel and electric operations in western Poland, close to the border with Germany. A survey of rail operations in southern France. And finally, a look at diesel services in southern Bavaria. We begin in the country of Slovakia and the electrified line that leaves the city of Kosice and travels east towards the border with the Ukraine. The route sees a good number of passenger and freight services as well as iron ore workings on the parallel 1520mm broad gauge line. We begin on the clear morning of Saturday the 19th of May 2012 at the small station at Wisna Myśla, around 15 kilometers southeast of Kosice. Czech Railways 162053 is seen in charge of the 2213 overnight train from Prague to Humene. This is another view of the same train. Freight trains had a variety of motive power, but the heaviest ones were hauled by Class 131 double locos. Local passenger services were often in the hands of Kosice-based Class 460 electric units, such as in this example seen heading east. These trains operate on a roughly hourly frequency throughout the day. Former CSD locos number 140067 and 058, built some 56 years ago, are operated by private freight company PSZ. Here they work a westbound hopper train, together with a Class 740 diesel used for yard shunting. The line here sweeps around a large S-bend in order to gain height for the climb over the nearby hills. The train is seen again on the descent, but is now travelling in a northerly direction. The broad gauge line from the major steelworks at Kosice can be seen from the station platforms. Trains are worked by Class 125-8 double electric locomotives dating from 1976. This pair is seen heading upgrade in an easterly direction, bound for the exchange sidings near Velka Kapushani. We now travel to Kosice, some 14 kilometres further east. In the distance we see Slovakian Railways Class 163 Electric number 057, heading the 0957 from Bratislava to Humene. During our stay we were seeing around 6 trains each hour. Movements on the broad gauge line were more difficult to ascertain, with maybe one working every 3 hours. The same train is seen passing this station at Slivnik on its way to Trebišov. Just below is the main line to Chop, which diverges here. The 1805 from Cierna nad Tisau is formed of Class 460 units number 042 and 054. This is the station at Slivnik, as broad gauge double locomotive number 125824 heads east. Our final scene is of an empty iron ore train on the broad gauge tracks as it passes through the station at Chelovci. Note the pantographs being lowered as the train heads towards the camera. This area of Slovakia has some interesting rural railway routes and provides the photographer and general observer with a good range of motive power and train types to be seen. During the summer of 2012, the NEG, which operates between Dagbüll and Dagbüll Mole, suffered a motive power shortage when a steam locomotive it was intending to use on some of its trains remained under repair. To the delight of many modern-day enthusiasts, help was at hand when preserved V200-007 was brought to the line to help out. In this section we see the loco at work on the 14-kilometre branch on the 29th of July. small town of Flüelen was once a busy trading port on the southern shores of Lake Lucerne, on the route south to the Gotthard Pass. Hundreds of years later, it is an important tourist link for passengers embarking or disembarking from the ferries operating in this picturesque part of the country. Today the town has a number of hotels and restaurants, as well as around 2,000 inhabitants. On the edge of the lake, the Gotthard main line passes through on its way towards Altdorf. The town is served by Interregio trains as well as line S2 on the Stadtbahn Zug, which sees an hourly service to Erstfeld and Zug. This is the spot where the ferries operated by the Lake Lucerne Navigation Company dock, which is close to the railway station itself, just a stone's throw away from behind our camera. Intercity expresses do not stop at this station. These are mainly operated using Class 500 train sets, as seen here. You can expect at least 4 freight trains along this route each hour, with more running at night. Here 11338 and 11678 head north on the afternoon of 24th of May 2012. The interchange between rail and water forms a key part of the William Tell Express, a tourist trail which combines a paddle steamer and a rail journey linking Lucerne with Locarno. This is the view looking north. This is the scene from just north of the station. There is a good trade to be had in the dredging of aggregates washed down into the nearby lake by the floodwaters of the Reuss River. The boats are unloaded at a nearby pier. ETR 470 train sets are regular performers along the line, on services to and from Zurich. Most freight services are powered by a combination of RE66 and RE44 locomotives. However, some, such as this one, have pairs of RE44s at the helm. The Class 523 units have been in service since 2004. 12 are allocated to the Zug commuter service network, although they do seem to have interoperability with a batch allocated to Lucerne. Both allocations were seen here during the day of our filming. 8 to 10 trains were seen each hour, including freight trains headed by German Class 185 electrics fitted with Swiss cab signalling equipment. This is 185-131 seen heading south. In this section we travel to the Netherlands to sample traffic on the main line south of Utrecht, on the line down to Eindhoven. Our location took us south of the town of Outen, across the Amsterdam-Rhine Canal and across the River Lek. The red line on the map follows our route. Predictably, most of the traffic was passenger focused, with just one freight train noted in 3 hours. We begin right next to the Amsterdam-Rhine Canal as a Class 2400 and Class 2600 combination head south over the waterway. Barges of all shapes and sizes make their way up and down this busy stretch of water. With 62 6-car and 69 4-car units now delivered, these train sets have replaced many of the Plan V 2-car units that were found working across most of the network. The units were built by a consortium involving Siemens and Bombardier, and are based on the German Class 425s. The most numerous electric multiple units are the 4 and 6-car VIRM double-deck train sets. This set is crossing the River Lek, one of 3 smaller rivers that flow down from the Rhine. Locomotive haul services are limited to the Venlo to Den Haag and the Zwolle to Roosendaal routes. This train heads south and is powered by a Class 1700 electric on the rear. We are now around a kilometre south of the station at Killenborg, as a pair of 4-car VIRM units head south with a service for Eindhoven. The line also sees intercity services between Frankfurt in Germany to and from Amsterdam. These are formed of 8-car Class 406 ICE units. We timed this scene perfectly, as 2 trains are seen passing each other. Our final scene shows 2 6-car VIRM units heading south. Whilst not the most interesting line in terms of traction variety, it can be a good line for photography, particularly in and around the various river and canal bridges. With a frequent service, it is perhaps worth a visit should you find yourself in the area. The western half of Poland sees many cross-border routes into the neighbouring country of Germany. One of the longest established of these is the route from Görlitz to the Polish junction town of Weglienec. Joining this route is the freight-only line from the German town of Horke, which is currently being modernised with new electrification and double tracking from the previous exchange point at Hoyerswerda. Due to this work, freight from Germany is currently being diverted via Cottbus, but still ends up here at Weglienec. We visited the station on the afternoon of Saturday the 12th of May 2012, and this is what we saw. To the west of the station, the lines from the north and the south are non-electrified. Heading south into the nearby yard complex is Class ST43 diesel number 333 on a set of empty coal wagons. Some Eurocity trains between Poland and Germany also operate along this route. Having brought in the 0709 from Krakow to Hamburg, electric locomotive number EP09031 runs past the camera before awaiting its next turn of duty. This is the 1318 departure from Zagorzelec, operated by a pair of Class SA135 diesel railcars. Services are operated by a regional passenger company based in Lineside, which is owned and funded by local government. The intercity train bound for Hamburg is taken forward by a PKP Cargo SU-46 diesel, normally as far as Cottbus. Here number 032 makes its way to the station, where it will back onto its train. Activity at this end of the station was constant. Handling the yard's shunting duties was rebuilt SM42 diesel number 1255. Weglianetz is a subshed of Wrocław depot, which is home to the last 35 surviving Class SU-46 locos. This pair have just arrived with a westbound freight train and are about to make their way to the depot for servicing. The fleet size of the ST43 diesels has remained static for the past few years, even though many locos appear in poor external or run-down condition. The nearby shed is home to a number of stored and withdrawn examples, which are unlikely to turn a wheel in service again. This pair are seen coming off the single track line from Shari. DB subsidiary MEG operates freight all over Germany, and also here in Poland, where one of its Class 232s, number 239, or better known as MEG 314, departs west bound for Horka. During our stay we saw around 12 movements each hour at this end of the station. This is train RE5792, the 1309 from Wrocław to Dresden, worked by DB Class 642 diesel units, numbers 041 and 040. To the southeast of the station is the single-track electrified line from Lubani-Śląskie. This line sees mainly electric multiple units and the odd freight train. The line to the east is where most of the rail traffic is seen. Ambling along towards the station is ET 221150, another Wrocław-based locomotive. This is the depot next to the station. As can be seen, it is home to many stored or out-of-use locomotives, although sometimes it is difficult to tell which ones are stored and which ones are still in traffic. Back at the west end of the station, SU 46 number 048 heads for the line that runs down to Zawidow, with a freight train for the Czech Republic. The time is 17:35 hours. This really is the place to see the SU 46 diesels, as we conclude with this shot of number 013 arriving with a trainload of empty log carriers from the line which comes up from Horka in Germany. In this section we travel to the south of France and to the Marseille region to look at train and locomotive types to be seen during the spring of 2012. Our cameraman, Richard Scott, travelled around the area on the 13th of April in search of some of the remaining locomotive-hauled passenger trains. We begin at Marseille, as locomotive number 67628 backs onto the 1158 to Clermont-Ferrand. In the new December 2012 timetable, this train no longer starts at Marseille. Instead, it has been cut back to begin at Nîmes. The station here is also a freight hotspot. What about this for a perfect lineup? There are still a number of peak hour diagrams for BB 67400 from here to Marseille via the coast route. This example is about to depart with the 1310 service to Marseille. Here we see the train about to depart from Lineside. This ex-German Class 212 was noted heading south. Another class now on their way out are the BB 25500 dual voltage electrics. Here 25668 arrives with the 1410 from Marseille to Avignon. delivery of new electric multiple units will soon replace the final batch of these electric locomotives still in service. Here we see another example leaving the main terminal station at Marseille. We end this section by returning to Miramas. Diesel number 75038 in the Ghost livery heads a train bound for the port complex at Fos-sur-Mer. Eurocargo Rail Class 66s are an everyday sight at this station. Here 66211 heads a train of bauxite for the factory at Gardanne. Built from 2006 onwards, 300 class BB 76000 diesel locomotives were ordered. The leading loco seen here has the original MTU R41 2200 kilowatt engine installed, whilst the second is fitted with the new, slightly more powerful MTU R43 design. Finally, we see Europort's Voslo G1000 locomotive number 1026, heading an eastbound car train. In our final section in this programme, we travel to the picturesque southern part of Germany, within what is more commonly known as Bavaria. Situated on the northern fringes of the Alps, the region has a number of diesel-operated lines that still feature classic locomotive and coach formations. We begin in the west, close to Altstatten, before travelling east to the single-track line down to Füssen. Finally, we travel north to the main line, with a number of shots taken at Kaufbeuren, and then along the flat countryside south of Buchloe. Here we are at Altstatten, as German Class 612 diesel unit number 090 heads south with the 0628 from Ulm to Aubersdorf. The same train is picked up by the camera around half a kilometre later. The transport company Alex operates services between Oberstdorf and Lindau and to and from München. The portion from Oberstdorf is operated by an ex-Austrian Class 2143 diesel, on this occasion number 021, hired in from SVG based at Ulm. These services operate every 2 hours in each direction, to and from Immenstadt, where the trains join or divide. Rounding the curve just north of Fischen is another Class 612 on a service for Ulm. We follow it to the station stop at Altstatten. This is another view of number 021, this time with the 0719 from München. Class 218 diesels can also be found working this line on intercity expresses. Passing through Altstatten is number 218495 on the 0947 from Oberstdorf to Hanover. We now move to the Füssen branch and to the station at Weisen Hopferau, as number 218467 departs with the 951 München to Füssen. All of our scenes were taken on a very sunny 26th of May 2012. Springtime brings out some of the best views of the nearby mountain scenery, and this day was no exception. The trains to München run every 2 hours in each direction, with the diesel always at the Füssen end of the train. The benefit of having 2 camera crews can be seen here, as the return working runs through the superb Bavarian scenery. Every other hour, Class 642 diesel units operate services from Augsburg. Here we see unit numbers 214 and 212 heading south with the 1103 from Augsburg to Füssen. In this view, we are nearly a kilometre south of Engelbolz, as the return working to Augsburg heads north through the lush green landscape. We now head north once more as we await the arrival of the 0714 intercity service from Hamburg to Oberstdorf, which was today running just over 10 minutes late. By the end of 2013, the new multi-engine Class 245 Trax ME locos will begin to enter service and are set to replace the Class 218s around München. So this year will be the last year that wide-scale use of Class 218s will remain in this part of Germany. Our final two scenes come from the flat farmland just south of Buchloe, as we see Class 218 diesels racing through the countryside. We hope once again that you have enjoyed this edition of European Railway. Look out for issue 48 to be released in 2 months' time.